You walk past millionaires every single day and have no idea. They aren't driving the flashy cars or wearing clothes dripping with logos. But they might own the building your favorite coffee shop is in, or that apartment complex down the street. While some people are obsessed with looking rich, a quiet elite is focused on being wealthy. They get a fundamental truth that escapes most people. True financial power isn't about what you show, it's about what you own. This is the world of stealth wealth, or quiet luxury. It's a philosophy built on discretion, quality, and the relentless accumulation of assets you never see. It's a strategy where status is a subtle whisper, not a loud shout, understood only by those who speak the same language. The problem is, our culture glorifies the noise. It tells us success is a sports car, a diamond watch, and a social media feed full of exotic vacations. It's a game designed to keep you spending, keep you chasing validation, and keep you from building real, lasting financial power. Today, we're exposing their playbook. We're not just going to talk about this mindset, we're going to break down the specific investment habits they use to build their fortunes in secret. These aren't get-rich-quick schemes. They are the disciplined, often boring, but incredibly powerful rules that separate the temporarily rich from the generationally wealthy. If you're ready to stop playing the game of looking rich and start building true financial power, this is for you. We're about to get into the 12 core tenets of the quiet luxury wealth strategy. The first and most important rule of stealth wealth is this: prioritize unseen assets over visible trinkets. This is the core distinction that changes absolutely everything. The average person gets a raise and asks, "What can I buy? A new car? A bigger TV? A designer wardrobe?" Their mind immediately jumps to consumption. The quietly wealthy get a raise and ask, "What asset can I buy?" This isn't a small difference in thinking. It's a completely different operating system for your financial life. An unseen asset is anything that generates income or grows in value without needing to be put on display. Think dividend-paying stocks, a rental property, a piece of a private business, or even intellectual property. A visible trinket is the opposite. It's a depreciating liability you buy mostly to project status. Let's make this real. Instead of buying a $5,000 luxury jacket, the stealth wealth practitioner buys $5,000 worth of a low-cost index fund that historically pays them dividends forever. Instead of taking on a huge monthly payment for a new luxury car that loses 10% of its value the second it leaves the lot, they invest that same amount into a real estate investment trust that pays them a share of rental income from a portfolio of properties. One path leads to a closet full of things worth less every day. The other path leads to a portfolio that is silently working to make you richer, even while you sleep. The truly wealthy know that the most valuable things they own are the things you can't see. Landmark studies of the wealthy, like The Millionaire Next Door, consistently find their success comes not from a huge salary, but from disciplined, regular investing in things like equities and real estate. They're not focused on the car in the driveway, they're focused on owning a piece of the company that made the car. They're not obsessed with the brand of their clothes, they're obsessed with owning the commercial real estate that the brand's stores sit on. The second habit is often misunderstood. The quietly wealthy master the art of frugality, but they are not cheap. There's a world of difference between the two. Cheapness is about paying the lowest price, no matter the quality or long-term cost. Frugality is about prioritizing value and efficiency. It's the conscious choice to spend generously where it truly matters and cut back ruthlessly where it doesn't. This mindset goes far beyond just physical stuff. Look at some of the wealthiest people in the world. Warren Buffett, with a net worth well over $140 billion as of late 2025, famously lives in the same modest house he bought in Omaha, Nebraska, back in 1958 for $31,500. Mark Zuckerberg is known for his simple wardrobe of gray t-shirts and jeans. This isn't because they can't afford more, it's because they understand that every dollar spent on an unnecessary luxury is a dollar that isn't compounding in their investments. They have nothing to prove to anyone. The frugal, not cheap philosophy is about intentional spending. They might spend lavishly on things that align with their core values, like their children's education, unique travel experiences, or philanthropy, but they'll turn around and use coupons for groceries or drive a reliable, paid-off Toyota instead of a flashy new model. They aren't driven by what others will think. They're driven by an internal scorecard of financial efficiency and personal satisfaction. One of the sneakiest traps of modern consumer culture is lifestyle creep, the tendency to spend more as you earn more. A raise comes in, and suddenly the bigger apartment, fancier car, and expensive restaurants feel like necessities. The quietly wealthy actively fight against this. They see a raise not as a chance to inflate their lifestyle, but as a chance to dramatically increase their investment rate. They keep their spending level, letting the gap between their income and expenses grow wider and wider. That gap is where wealth is born. The wealthy weaponize time through aggressive and early compounding. Most people get compound interest in theory, but the truly wealthy feel it in their bones. They don't just see it as a neat financial concept, they see it as the most powerful force in their financial universe. Albert Einstein is often quoted as having said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it, he who doesn't, pays it." While that quote might be legendary, the truth behind it is absolute. The stealth wealth strategy is built entirely on being on the earning side of that equation. Starting early is what unlocks the exponential power of this force. The quietly wealthy are obsessed with this math. This is why they prioritize investing aggressively from their very first paycheck. They make their discipline effortless by automating their investments. A set portion of their income is automatically sent to their investment accounts every single month, without fail, regardless of what the market is doing. They take emotion and indecision out of the equation. The system does the work. To implement this, the first step is automation. Set up automatic transfers from your checking to your investment accounts on payday. Even if you start small, the habit is more important than the amount. The goal is to make investing as regular and non-negotiable as your rent payment. The second step is to adopt a long-term mindset. Stop checking your portfolio every day. The daily swings are just noise. The wealthy think in decades, not days. They know that time in the market is infinitely more important than timing the market. By starting early, investing consistently, and letting time do the heavy lifting, they build fortunes that seem impossible to those who start too late. The investment portfolio of a quiet millionaire is almost always intentionally boring. While the media loves to hype stories of people getting rich overnight on a hot stock or some crypto coin, that's not how you build sustainable wealth. That's financial gambling, not investing. A typical portfolio for a discreet millionaire isn't chasing trends. Instead, it's built on a foundation of globally diversified, low-cost index funds and ETFs, with a side of solid bonds and income-producing real estate. Why does this boring strategy work so well? First, diversification. When you own a tiny slice of thousands of companies around the world through an index fund, you aren't betting on a single company to succeed. You're betting on the long-term growth of the global economy. This insulates you from the risk of one company imploding. Second, actively managed funds, where a manager tries to beat the market, come with high fees that quietly eat away at your returns. Index funds, which just try to match the market's performance, have incredibly low fees. Over decades, this difference in fees can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in your pocket instead of your fund managers. Third, it removes emotion. The biggest enemy of the average investor is themselves. They panic sell during market dips and FOMO buy at market peaks, destroying their own returns. The boring strategy of automatic, consistent investing into a diversified portfolio helps neutralize this self-sabotage. You set the plan and you stick to it, ignoring the fear and greed-driven headlines of the day. Boring core of their wealth machine. To apply this, stop looking for the next hot stock tip. Stop trying to time the market. Instead, build a simple, diversified, low-cost portfolio. For most people, a handful of index funds covering the US market, international markets, and the bond market is all you'll ever need. The quietly wealthy view debt as a tool, not a trap. This requires a crucial distinction. For most people, debt is a four-letter word. It comes as high-interest credit cards used to fund a lifestyle they can't afford, or car payments that drain their cash flow. This is bad debt, and the wealthy avoid it like the plague. But there's another kind of debt, good debt. Good debt is money borrowed at a low interest rate to buy an asset that's expected to grow in value or produce income at a higher rate than the cost of the debt. This is the debt the wealthy use strategically to pour gasoline on their wealth creation fire. The key difference is what the debt is for. Bad debt buys liabilities, fancy dinners, vacations, clothes. Good debt buys assets, real estate, businesses, stock portfolios. One makes you poorer, the other has the potential to make you richer. For most people, the first step is to aggressively eliminate all bad debt. High-interest credit card debt is a wealth-destroying emergency. Once you're free from consumer debt, you can start to think about the strategic use of good debt. This might mean saving for a down payment on a house hack property where you live in one unit and rent out the others, or educating yourself on how to responsibly buy your first rental. The goal is to shift from being a consumer of debt to being a strategic user of it. And as we move into the second half, we're going to get into some of the more advanced, almost secret strategies. So, make sure you're subscribed to the Wealth Saga channel with notifications on, because you don't want to miss what's next. Step 1. Buy. As we've covered, the wealthy relentlessly acquire appreciating assets, stocks, real estate, businesses. They buy and they hold these assets for the long term, letting them grow in value year after year. The key is that as long as they don't sell, they don't trigger a taxable event. The gains are all unrealized. They exist on paper but haven't been turned into cash. A portfolio can grow from $1 million to $10 million, and if nothing is sold, the tax bill on that $9 million gain is zero. Step 2. Borrow. Now, you're probably thinking, that's great, but how do they live if they never sell anything? This is where the magic happens. Instead of selling their assets to fund their lifestyle, they borrow against them. They go to a bank and take out a loan using their multi-million-dollar portfolio as collateral. Because loans are not considered income by the IRS, the money they receive is completely tax-free. They can use this borrowed money for anything: living expenses, vacations, even buying more assets. The interest rates on these loans are typically very low, often way lower than the expected growth rate of their assets. So, while they might pay 2 to 3% interest on the loan, their portfolio continues to grow at an average of 8 to 10%. Their wealth is still growing faster than their debt. Step 3. This is the final and most crucial piece of the puzzle. When the wealthy individual passes away, their assets go to their heirs. This is where a rule called the step-up in basis comes into play. The basis is the original price paid for an asset. When you sell, you pay tax on the profit. But upon death, the basis for the heirs is stepped up to whatever the asset's market value was on the date of death. This means all those unrealized gains that built up over a person's entire lifetime are legally wiped away. The heirs inherit the assets as if they just bought them that day. They can then sell a portion of these assets, tax-free, to pay off the loans that were taken out, and the cycle can begin all over again. It is the ultimate legal tax avoidance strategy for generational wealth. The quietly wealthy invest heavily in something called cultural capital. Financial capital is your money and assets. Cultural capital is all the non-financial stuff that gives you an edge in life. The knowledge, skills, behaviors, and social circles that open doors. The wealthy understand that who you know is often more important than what you own. They invest time and resources into building powerful networks. This isn't slimy, transactional networking. It's joining the right charity boards, country clubs, and alumni associations. It's sending their kids to elite schools where they form lifelong bonds with the next generation of leaders. These networks provide access to off-market investment deals, expert advice, and opportunities the public never even sees. They also invest in knowledge that has nothing to do with making money directly. They learn about art, history, and philosophy. They become experts in wine or classical music. They learn multiple languages. This knowledge allows them to move seamlessly in elite circles and signal their belonging without ever talking about their net worth. It's a form of status signaling that's far more subtle and effective than any luxury logo. While our culture pushes everyone to build a personal brand and chase likes and followers, the stealth wealth community runs in the opposite direction. They actively avoid the spotlight, because attention is expensive. It attracts unwanted opinions, expectations, and judgment. It brings fake friends, gold diggers, and terrible advice. Most dangerously, it attracts lawsuits and security risks. The moment people know you have money, you become a target. Your life gets more complicated, more expensive, and less free. Privacy is the ultimate luxury, and they guard it with their lives. This is why so many self-made millionaires continue to live in modest homes, drive normal cars, and avoid any outward signs of their wealth. The quietly wealthy would rather be anonymous and in control of their lives than famous and a slave to public perception. This mindset runs completely opposite to the influencer culture that dominates social media, where people fake wealth for clout. The takeaway for anyone on this path is to be incredibly discreet about your financial success. Don't post about your investment wins online. Don't talk about specific numbers with friends and family. The less people know about your financial situation, the simpler and more secure your life will be. The quietly wealthy know that willpower is a finite resource. Relying on sheer discipline to make the right financial choice every single day is a losing battle. Eventually, you'll be tired or stressed, and you'll slip up. So, they take willpower out of the equation. They design a system where the default action is the right one, and they put it on autopilot. This might be the laziest habit on the list, but it's also one of the most powerful. Here's what that system usually looks like. On payday, their income hits a central checking account. Before they even have a chance to see the full amount and think about how to spend it, a series of automatic transfers kick in. First, a set percentage or amount is immediately zapped into their investment accounts, their brokerage, their Roth IRA, etc. This is the pay yourself first principle in action, and it's non-negotiable. Second, another set of transfers automatically pays all their fixed bills: mortgage, utilities, insurance, loan payments. Third, a predetermined amount moves to their short-term savings accounts for specific goals, like a vacation or a future car, and to their emergency fund. Whatever is left in the checking account is their guilt-free spending money for the month. This level of automation does several critical things. It enforces discipline without requiring mental effort. It prevents emotional decisions. It ensures consistency, which is the key to compounding. Contrast this with the average person's financial life, which is often chaotic and reactive. They pay bills as they come, spend randomly, and hope there's something left to save at the end of the month. That's a recipe for financial anxiety and inconsistent progress. The quietly wealthy plan for generations. Their goal isn't just to have enough money to stop working. It's to create a financial structure that will support their family for 100 years or more. This long-term view changes the entire nature of their financial planning. It's no longer just about growing assets. It's about preserving and transferring those assets as efficiently as possible. This is where sophisticated estate planning tools come in, things like trusts and family-limited partnerships. A trust, for example, is a legal entity that can own assets for beneficiaries. Instead of leaving assets directly to their children, the wealthy might place them in a dynasty trust. This type of trust can last for generations, protecting the assets from creditors, lawsuits, and even a beneficiary's own bad decisions. It ensures the wealth is used according to the values of the person who created it, long after they're gone. They also focus heavily on financial education for their children and grandchildren. They know that leaving a massive inheritance to someone without the knowledge to manage it is a curse, not a blessing. They hold formal family meetings to discuss financial strategy. They involve their children in philanthropic decisions. They teach them the same principles of investing, frugality, and discretion that we've been talking about. The goal is to transfer not just the financial capital, but the human capital required to manage it properly. This is also where their focus on ethical and sustainable investing often comes in. When you're thinking in terms of a century, you start to care more about the long-term health of the planet and society. You want to invest in companies building a world your great-grandchildren can inherit. This may seem out of reach for someone just starting out, but the principle is scalable. Even if you don't have millions to put in a trust, you can start with a clear estate plan. That means having a will, naming beneficiaries on all your accounts, and having life insurance if you have dependents. It's about being intentional about what happens to your assets when you're no longer here. You can also start the process of financial education with your own family. Talk openly about the importance of saving and investing. Be transparent about your financial values. The greatest legacy you can leave isn't just money, but the wisdom to manage it well. The quietly wealthy aren't just building a nest egg, they're building an empire designed to last. As you build real wealth, you realize that the stuff you can buy provides diminishing returns of happiness. The thrill of a new watch or car fades fast. The quietly wealthy get this, so they increasingly shift their spending from material things to experiences and skills. For them, true luxury is not a product. It's freedom, knowledge, and growth. It's using their money to buy back their time and enrich their lives in non-material ways. They also invest heavily in acquiring new skills. This could be learning to fly a plane, getting a certification in a new field, or hiring a coach to master a sport like tennis or golf. This is a direct rejection of the consumerist idea that you need to buy things to be happy. In fact, for many wealthy people, owning too much stuff becomes a burden. It has to be stored, maintained, insured, and protected. It complicates life. Experiences, on the other hand, enrich life without adding clutter. The final and perhaps most profound habit is a psychological one. They consciously define what enough means to them, and then they live comfortably below that line. In a society that constantly tells you that you need more, a bigger house, a faster car, a higher title, the most powerful act of rebellion is to decide for yourself where the finish line is. The quietly wealthy do this. They calculate how much they need to live the life they truly want, with a huge margin of safety, and once they hit that point, they stop moving the goalposts. This doesn't mean they stop earning or investing. It means they stop tying their happiness and self-worth to the endless chase for more. They've escaped the mental trap of comparing themselves to others and instead focus on their own internal sense of fulfillment. They know the truly rich person is not the one who has the most, but the one who needs the least. Living below their defined enough line gives them incredible freedom and security. They aren't stressed about market swings because their lifestyle doesn't depend on their portfolio hitting all-time highs. They can weather financial storms, take career risks, or decide to work less because they've built a massive buffer between their financial reality and their personal needs. So, there you have it. The 12 core habits that make up the quiet luxury wealth strategy. As you can see, the common thread running through all of them is a radical shift in perspective. It's a shift from prioritizing the visible to prioritizing the invisible. From chasing a high income to relentlessly accumulating assets. From seeking public validation to valuing private freedom. From emotional reactions to systematic action. From planning for one lifetime to building a legacy that lasts for generations. This isn't a strategy reserved for billionaires. It's a mindset that anyone can start adopting today. If you made it this far, you're clearly serious about changing your financial future. These ideas are powerful, but only if you actually use them. So, I have a question for you. Which of these 12 habits hit home the most, and what is one small step you can take this week to start putting it into practice? Let me know in the comments below. Reading through your plans is one of my favorite things to do. And if you want more deep dives into the strategies the wealthy use to build and protect their fortunes, make sure you subscribe to Wealth Saga and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.